to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, a search ends in tragedy for an Alexander couple lost in the woods on Saturday.
Plus, the city of Bangor announced that they will be closing Tent City by the end of the year, but some say that will cause larger problems.
And an ATV club is trying to build back following a massive theft from within their organization. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Happy Friday to everyone. We made it through the work week again, almost.
Yeah.
It was just starting off, really.
It feels like a Friday. I thought it was Saturday when I woke up this morning, but that's silly of me.
Thank goodness it's Friday, though. And the weather, as far as the weather's concerned, it's looking pretty nice. We'll have a nice sunny day today, heading right into the weekend. So if you have any fall plans, whether it's foliage watching or whatever, working around the house.
It's stunning out right outside right now.
Yeah.
I'm still getting used to talking this morning.
We're still waking up here. Oh, I imagine they feel the same way. They're still waking up too.
Yes.
You know, go have another cup of coffee. We will too. In the meantime, let's turn things over to Devin Biggs for a first look at that forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Irish Collision Center. Irish Collision Center offers expert repairs with a 3D frame measuring system, aluminum repair equipment. Our recent expansion boosts capacity, faster service. We're dedicated to quality every time. Visit us today. Alright, here we go. Freeze warnings and frost advisories up for the southern parts of the state that will expire at 8 a.m. this morning. The growing season coming to an end with the cooler temperatures now during the morning period. There is a little bit of a warm-up that is also on the way. Meanwhile, though, on land, it's very quiet. I promise our radar and satellite is working this morning. There's no clouds overhead with a lot of sunshine on the way for us today, and also for tomorrow, no rainfall in the forecast anytime soon. There is a system further off towards the south that's causing some showers and storms to develop. This will stay away from us, and again, no rainfall on the way anytime soon. Futurecast showing the quiet weather for today with lots of sunshine, maybe a little bit of a breeze, but that's about it. But notice the clouds stay away from us later on tonight as well, as we'll be under a clear sky with more frost possible. Wednesday might pick up along the coast at around 5 to 10 miles per hour, maybe some higher gusts at times. Winds will be calmer further inland. But otherwise, your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing lots of sunshine with temperatures warming into the 50s and 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin. We'll have another look at that 5-day forecast a little later on. Well, it was a tragic ending in the search for a missing couple from Alexander. A woman has been found alive, but her husband had already passed away by the time a game warden found him. According to the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, 72-year-old Pamela Helmstadter and 82-year-old John Helmstadter were last in contact with their family on Saturday evening. Authorities were called when they failed to return to their home. Officials say the search came to an end Thursday afternoon when wardens found Mrs. Helmstadter in the woods over a mile from their home. She told authorities the couple had gone out for a walk on Sunday on the trails behind their home, but her husband fell and was unable to get up. Neither had their cell phone, so she went to get help but got lost. Pamela Helmstadter was found severely hypothermic, but she was alert and her dog was still by her side. About a half hour later, the warden service was able to locate Mr. Helmstadter about 200 yards away from where his wife was found, but he was deceased. Mrs. Helmstadter was transported to Calais Regional Hospital for observation. She told authorities she had given up hope of being found, but heard the game warden service airplane circling over her 5 different times, and it gave her hope that she would be found.
Well, in other news this morning, an outside agency has completed the review of how the Maine State Police conducted their evaluation of the October 25th Lewiston mass shooting response. The New England State Police Administrators Conference is a third-party organization consisting of state police agencies from across Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. They have completed the review of the Maine State Police's after the action review of the Lewiston mass shooting. Their intent was to offer feedback and recommendations to make sure that the after-action review was as thorough as possible and covered all the necessary points related to after-action review best practices. Some of the recommendations listed have already been addressed by the Maine State Police or through legislative actions, such as improving Maine's yellow flag law and implementing more training on how to properly use the law. Other recommendations are for things such as improving next of kin notification, timing and communications with members of the deaf community. Maine Department of Public Safety spokesperson Shannon Moss says the department is very thankful for the time NESPAC spent going over their review, and they look forward to using this information along with the Lewiston Independent Commission's final report to improve their response to any future incidents.
A Woodland man has been arrested on arson charges. 37-year-old Joshua Bryden is also facing other charges, including attempted arson, 6 counts of criminal use of explosives, 2 counts of stalking, and 1 count of endangering the welfare of a child. A spokesperson for the state fire marshal's office says Bryden's arrest came after an 18-month investigation into incidents of improvised explosive devices and incendiary devices being used to target multiple victims in the town of Woodland. The spokesperson says several of the devices were dropped by drone and others were placed or thrown by hand. Bryden is being held in the Aroostook County Jail.
Well, the case of the state of Maine versus Roland Flood got underway in Skowhegan yesterday during a pre-trial hearing. Flood has been charged with 1 count of murder in the death of Mark Trabue in July of last year. Inside the Somerset County courtroom, Flood's attorney requested a motion to suppress evidence brought forth by the state. 3 Maine State Police detectives were cross-examined. Each of them had approximately 6 interactions with Flood beginning on July 9th before his arrest. One interaction the prosecution asked the detectives about was the day they issued a search warrant for Flood's residence.
I told him, you understand you don't have to speak with us. I think I told him it twice, and he was cooperative. He was willing to speak with us.
And is it during this interview that at this point you advise Mr. Flood that Mark is no longer a missing person, but that he's deceased? Is that right?
Yes.
Well, a decision on the matter will be made at a later time, but according to the presiding judge, that decision will come before jury selection, which will be held in the coming weeks.
The city of Bangor has recently announced they plan to close the city's largest homeless encampment by the end of the year, though community advocates say this action will only create more issues. Our Grace Blanchard has the details.
More than 70 people call the encampment site in Bangor known as Tent City home. But after growing safety concerns, city officials are moving forward with plans to clear the site and get people into some form of housing by the end of the year.
We are becoming concerned for the health and safety, even more so of individuals within this area.
Bangor city manager says they have been working with the Department of Housing and Urban Development since 2022 to find solutions. She says of the 73 known occupants in the encampment, at least 50 are engaged with outreach services in some way.
We have concerns for their physical, mental well-being, and that's really what's driving it.
Bangor police say they have been called to the site over 500 times since the beginning of the year.
We come up to enforce the laws and we're called. We look for cooperation. We try to gain trust, and it's an uphill battle.
These people are good people, most of them, and they need to be helped as much as anybody.
Many that have been living in the encampment say they are worried about finding housing once the area is cleared due to limited space in warming centers and shelters.
Well, the police are going to have to take time off to go under bridges and railroad tracks and places where they've been before. It's going to be worse this time, probably.
Local nonprofits like Penobscot County Cares say more needs to be done by the city first.
You do not sweep people away unless you can offer them housing and unless you can offer them a voice in the discussions, and not just a voice, but a role in the decision making.
A sweep tends to mean you go in with no resources, you remove everybody's items against their will. There is nothing that we have said or nothing we intend to do that resembles that.
In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, right now, thousands of people are experiencing homelessness in Maine, but state leaders continue to try to bring that number down. Yesterday in Portland, Preble Street hosted a conference to examine the factors contributing to homelessness. They include a lack of affordable housing and a rising number of people needing mental health and substance abuse help.
I think that most homeless organizations are really challenged to be able to continue to operate their programs, and so this conference is a great way to mobilize and to energize people.
More than 250 people attended the conference, including nonprofits, policy leaders from Washington, and also state leaders.
A change of leadership is underway at Northern Light Health. 2 top officials have resigned from the organization in as many days, or in just 2 days. Greg Lafrancois has dropped down from his role as president of Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center. A release from Northern Light Health confirmed his departure and said Greg's understanding of healthcare, both rural and urban, and his passion for connecting with staff will be missed. Ava Collins will serve as the interim president for the time being, and a search for a permanent replacement will be conducted this spring. On Thursday, it was announced that Tricia Costigan has also resigned from her position as the president of Northern Light Inland Hospital in Waterville. The news comes as the healthcare provider has been dealing with a $60 million deficit and has been forced to close or reduce hours at some of its facilities.
Well, the number of people voting by absentee ballots in Maine is currently expected to exceed numbers from the last major election in 2022. As of Tuesday afternoon, a little over 192,000 Maine voters had requested absentee ballots, and roughly 75,000 had been returned and accepted. At the same time in 2022, a little over 139,000 ballots had been requested, and around 50,500 had been returned and accepted. The absentee ballot numbers include people who vote by mail or in person through their municipal court clerks. In 2022, Maine had the highest overall voter turnout in the entire nation. Usually the way it goes up here in Maine, we take our voting serious. Yeah.
All right, the time now, 6:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, an ATV club is picking up the pieces following massive fraud from the man they trusted with their finances.
We'll have the story coming up, but first, let's take another check of that forecast. A sunny day ahead today with highs near 61 degrees. It will be clear and cool tonight. Some folks may see some frost too. Lows dropping down to the low 30s. Tomorrow for Saturday, another clear and sunny day with highs near 67. We'll be right back.
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message.
Big drug companies were ripping off diabetics like me. Jared Golden knew that was wrong, and he voted to cap insulin at $35 a month for seniors. Not Austin Theriault. He said the bill Jared supported wouldn't help everyday middle-class people like me. Theriault isn't even in Congress yet, and he's already out of touch and is on the record opposing benefits for seniors on Medicare. We can't afford Austin Theriault.
This Halloween season, don't be afraid to dive into your dream boat at Hamlin's Marine. With our Don't Be Scared to Buy a Boat sale, you can save thousands on any in-stock boat, if you dare. From the comfort of a Godfrey pontoon to the power of a Weldcraft, both powered by reliable Yamaha outboards, we've got the perfect boat for your next adventure. But these savings vanish Halloween night. Visit Hamlin's Marine, where the prices are spooky good and the deals are to die for.
Hi, Eastern Maine. Watch Person, Place, or Thing right here on ABC 7, weekdays starting at 10 a.m.
Very few people can say they have been run over and live to tell about it. So you could say Sarah Piquel is a walking miracle.
People will reach out to me, what can I do for you? Pray, just pray, because it's working. It is so working.
We'll have her story Monday on ABC 7 News at 6.
Welcome back, everyone. An ATV club is starting from scratch after leaders say their bank accounts were drained. The group says its treasurer embezzled upwards of $15,000, including money set aside for a scholarship. Mal Meyer has more from Turner.
We keep track of stuff like that, but just obviously not good enough.
Turner Timberland ATV Club President Eric Spears says the theft started when they got a new treasurer last fall.
You never suspected anything was wrong?
Did not. He was falsifying reports.
Spear recently went to rent an excavator for trail work when his card got declined.
Being naive, I called the credit union and said, hey, my card's not going through. Please take it out of the savings part of it. And they go, no, there's no money there either.
The Androscoggin County Sheriff's Office confirms 37-year-old Matthew Conklin of Turner was charged with theft connected to the club. He's since bailed out. Documents with more detailed allegations haven't been filed in court yet.
A lot of people have stepped up and offered to help out where they can.
But Spear doesn't think they'll get the money back.
People are just disappointed of what has happened and just cannot believe that a friend of the club who's rode with us could do this to us personally.
I feel horrible that this situation occurred.
Paula Fleming is with the Better Business Bureau. She suggests organizations or businesses should have more than just one person with complete control over finances.
Have different people responsible for receiving funds, making deposits, writing checks, reconciling bank statements.
Consider regular audits or even background checks,
especially if there's significant funds attached to the organization or business.
And finally, train members or workers about the signs of embezzlement and the importance of oversight, something Spear learned now that his guard is up.
Don't rely on people like that. Even though you think they're friends, don't rely on them.
We repeatedly reached out to Conklin for a comment, no response.
And that was Mal Meyer reporting. In other news, the governor's energy office has released an updated winter heating guide. Energy Office Director Dan Burgess says it has comprehensive information to help Mainers save money and stay warm this winter. It includes tips, contact information, and links to online resources where consumers can explore topics like heat pumps, wood and propane heating, as well as energy assistance programs. The guide is available to view and download on the Governor's Energy Office website.
Well, Versant Power says they're turning off the lights in parts of Bangor this morning and for some scheduled maintenance. The planned outage project is expected to take about 3 hours to complete and will affect customers on Center Street, Park Street, and Summer Street starting at 8:30 this morning, not at 8:30 yesterday like I reported yesterday. Sorry about that, it's happening today. The purpose of the work being done is to improve reliability and prevent future outages. Drivers in those areas are asked to slow down and be mindful of crews doing their work.
Skowhegan leaders are mapping out their goals for improving the town, and there are multiple issues on the table, including parking in the downtown, the handling of trash, and an aging fire station. The Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board held their annual joint meeting this week, discussing a number of issues they feel the town should address and how, if at all, it's being addressed already. One issue that came up is the amount of parking in town. Some say Skowhegan has a housing problem, and there are businesses that are taking up available spaces, potentially hindering housing development. Others say it's not an issue.
I mean, right now, I don't think our town has a parking problem. I don't think there's any evidence that we have a real parking problem. Should we get a whole lot of new things, especially large volume, if we was to get something that had a, 40 units, additional right downtown right now, that would add a lot to what we have going on.
If you want to view the meeting in its entirety, you can head to the Town of Skowhegan's Facebook page. All right, the time now is 6:17. After the break, a mom and pop newspaper in Lincoln is celebrating 65 years in operation.
We'll take you there as Good Morning Maine continues.
Let's do this.
Introducing Chevy's best lineup of SUVs ever. The rugged, always-ready Trailblazer, the first ever Traverse Z71, and the Chevy Trax, starting at $21,495. When it's your time to shine, Chevy's got you.
Current qualified lessees can get this 2025 Trax for around $279 a month. Visit your Maine Chevy dealer.
I'll always put people over politics, protect Social Security, and fight to lower costs. But that's not enough. I'll stand up to the extremes, oppose those who want to ban abortion nationwide, and stop those on the far left who want an open border. They play games while Mainers struggle. People over politics means restoring balance to Washington, putting aside our differences, and doing what's right for you.
Austin Terrio for Congress.
I'm Austin Terrio, and I approve this message.
For the third year running, Designed by Aaron is thrilled to present the Singer State Collection. Join us on October 22nd from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in downtown Bangor for a one-day-only event. Dive into a dazzling array of vintage, antique, and contemporary jewelry, plus exclusive designer and celebrity pieces including stunning gems once owned by Amy Winehouse, Michael Jackson, and more. Don't let this spectacular event slip through your fingers. Join us at Designed by Aaron on October 22nd and discover something truly extraordinary.
Today, one Maine newspaper is celebrating 6.5 decades of serving its community. but they're also looking ahead to their next chapter.
Our David Ledford sat down with the team to learn more about the paper's past, present, and future.
Since being established in 1959, the Lincoln News has become what some call a pillar of the community. It's the town's only newspaper, printing roughly 5,000 copies on site each week with their own press.
They're waiting out the door on Wednesday nights when the paper comes off the press to come in and buy a paper.
In its 65 years of operation, the paper has remained community-focused, covering everything from town meetings to local sports in the Lincoln Lakes region. They even continued to put out their weekly paper after a fire at their business in 2009, one of two that destroyed most of their archives. However, owner Roberta Whalen recently made the decision to sell the business, although she says she will only sell to someone who will keep that feeling of local journalism alive.
I've had offers to buy just the building, which I won't do. I want to keep it a paper. I don't think the town would like to lose the paper. A lot of people in this town, they like the actual paper to hold in their hands and read it.
Editor Chris DeBeck says the Lincoln News is more than a newspaper. It's also a community hub, and he hopes that will continue under a future owner.
We're kind of a little bit of a step in time back in days, when communities like ours had papers that were kind of, part of the fabric of the community. In our industry, there's a lot of consolidation. We're still kind of one of the last few sort of mom and pop type operations, really.
In Lincoln, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Good for them.
I don't think we can overemphasize how important that is in an age when news companies are being bought out en masse. Most places, we are one of the few as well who are not owned by a larger corporation. So that is so important to celebrate and support journalism like that.
Hey, I agree with you 100%. We're lucky we have a number of these small papers around Maine that are still thriving and still covering community news and things like that.
Buy your local Lincoln paper because that is so special.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. All right, the time now is 6:21.
Let's get a full look at that weather forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Irish Collision Center. Irish Collision Center offers expert repairs with a 3D frame measuring system, aluminum repair equipment. Our recent expansion boosts capacity, faster service. We're dedicated to quality every time. Visit us today. Frost advisories, freeze warnings posted until 8 a.m. this morning for the southern parts of the state. Growing season coming to an end with some of these cooler mornings that we have been dealing with. Some active surf along the coast as well. Small spot of the southwestern parts of the state under a small crab advisory this morning. Wave heights increasing just a bit, just to the south of those boobies now at around 1 to 3 feet, but notice 10 feet being noted further down to the south. So that is why that small crab advisory is posted southwest of the parts of the state of Maine for us today. But otherwise, water temperatures are at around 54 degrees, so some spots continuing to cool off. Other spots are also in the 50s and 60s this morning. Ocean temperatures will continue to cool off as we head further into fall. Meanwhile, on land, we're rather quiet outside this morning. Lots of sunshine. We might see a few passing clouds, but again, most of the clouds will stay away from us today. There is a system here. This is it right here that's stirring up the ocean a bit. That's probably prompting those small crowd advisories as well for the southwestern parts of the state. But again, for us inland, staying rather quiet with a lot of sunshine. And we could use some rainfall, though. The latest drought monitor out yesterday still showing moderate drought for the eastern parts of the state and the southern parts of the state as well, with other areas experiencing abnormally dry conditions. No rainfall on the way anytime soon, and a good part of the country could see rainfall. A lot of the country dealing with some kind of drought right now. Not much rainfall on the way, at least anytime soon, although the western parts of the U.S. seeing at least a little bit of precipitation at this time. Our average high temperature is 57 degrees. We'll do lower 60s today, upper 60s Saturday to Sunday, with lower 70s Monday to Tuesday, upper 60s Wednesday, and then we're back in the upper 50s as we head towards your Thursday. Fall foliage, it won't be long and the leaves will be blowing off the trees. The latest map in showing we're past peak across the northern parts of the state. Further down to the south, we are at peak right now, but near Bangor, areas further down to the south, we're seeing a lot of color right now. And with the cooler temperatures, we'll see these colors expand further down toward the south. But your forecast coming up for today, lots of sunshine. It will be a nice day with highs in the low 60s and a south wind at around 5 miles per hour. Later on tonight, lower 30s, clear clear and cool areas of frost possible. Southwest wind at around 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, upper 60s, sunny and even warmer, with that west breeze getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Irish Collision Center. Partly cloudy on Sunday and again for the day on Monday, with highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s. Mostly sunny on Tuesday with highs in the low 70s.
When you're ready to tackle your next building project, depend on the knowledge and experience of Hammond Lumber Company. Hammond's Home Planning Center will turn your ideas into accurate conceptual drawings, and 3D visualization is available. Your Hammond sales rep will prepare a materials list and cost estimate. And when you buy all of your materials from them, Hammond will refund all of your design fees. Hammond can deliver your order from any of their 22 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner since 1953.
Me and my co-workers get up and we go into work every day. Yet illegal immigrants in this state are getting things handed to them for free. Jared Golden voted to protect sanctuary cities instead of voting to help his own people. Jared Golden pretends to be a moderate, but he's not. Washington has exposed Jared Golden for what he truly is, a tax and spend, liberal, Democrat. He says one thing and does another.
Strategic Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
If you've been in an accident with a truck, making the wrong call can be costly. Evidence and witnesses can disappear. You need to stop that from happening. These are some of the most complicated cases for a law firm, but not if you call one that handles truck cases every day. Call a law firm with the resources, experience, and power to go after every dollar you deserve. If you're hurt in a truck accident, call Joe. The law offices of Joe Bornstein.
Tell them you mean business.
I work 60 hours a week and I live with my father. You can't get an apartment by yourself anymore. Jared Golden and liberals in Congress are giving free housing to illegal immigrants. That is not fair. Jared Golden says one thing here in Maine and then goes to DC and does something different. He's made life here in Maine even harder.
Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. An Israeli official has confirmed that the top leader of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar, has been killed in a military operation in Gaza. Sinwar is believed to be one of the chief planners behind the October 7th attacks against Israel. In a statement, Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz said, quote, the arch terrorist responsible for the murders and atrocities committed by Hamas on October 7th, as well as many acts of terror over the years, was eliminated today in Gaza by IDF forces. Sinwar became Hamas's top leader after the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh in an airstrike in Tehran.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is urging Western allies to support what he calls his plan for victory against Russia. Zelensky made the comments during a meeting of the European Union where he detailed his plan to end the war. And part of that plan, Zelensky said, must include an invitation for Ukraine to join NATO, along with using longer-range missiles supplied by the West to strike deeper into Russia. Zelensky also warned North Korean soldiers are coming to fight for Russia.
About 10,000 soldiers of North Korea that they are preparing to send fight against us. This is really urgent thing which I spoke about it with the United States.
This week, Deputy Secretary of State Kurt Campbell said the U.S. and its allies were alarmed over North Korea's military support for Russia, but could not confirm if North Korean soldiers were being sent to fight against Ukraine.
Well, former President Trump opened a very small lead among likely voters in our latest Fox polling. This as the Republican nominee for president gets to speak at the annual Al Smith Charity Dinner in Manhattan. It's an event Vice President Harris declined to attend. Fox News national correspondent Brian Yanis has more from New York.
Hillary is so corrupt. She got kicked off the Watergate Commission.
It's amazing I'm up here after Donald. I didn't think he'd be okay with a peaceful transition of power.
Former President Trump and Hillary Clinton famously traded one-liners at the annual Al Smith Catholic Charities dinner back in 2016. Tonight, Trump will take the stage alone, Vice President Harris becoming the first presidential candidate to skip the dinner in 40 years. Harris instead campaigning in swing state Wisconsin to, quote, maximize her time in the battlegrounds this close to the election. But the Trump campaign suggests she's avoiding an uncomfortable night, given her pro-abortion position.
It's 100% a shot at Catholics. You can't take a look at it any other way.
The dinner's host, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, disappointed.
It's a shame because the nature of the evening is to bring people together.
Right.
The nature of the evening is civility, patriotism, humor. It's not a campaign speech. It's not a campaign stop.
Tonight, new national Fox polling shows likely voters view Trump more favorably than Harris. Harris and Trump seeing swings since last month. The vice president now underwater by 5 points, with the former president -4. And Senator J.D. Vance now seen more favorably than Governor Tim Walz by a single point. In Pittsburgh today, Vance responded to Harris's interview last night.
I will say, to Kamala Harris's credit, I think that every time she gives an interview, that we gain about 100,000 votes.
Harris pre-recorded a video message that will be shown at tonight's dinner. Trump says Harris should not have been allowed to do that video message. As for the importance of this dinner politically, well, the last presidential candidate to not show up for this dinner was Walter Mondale back in 1984. Cardinal Dolan joked he went on to lose 49 out of 50 states. In New York, Brian Yennis, Fox News.
And coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll get a look at all the latest news from Hollywood in today's Hollywood Nation.
That and more on Good Morning Maine.
Cancel all of my shows.
Here's what you need to know about
no-show Austin Terrio.
Austin Terrio skipped work in the State House, but still took his paycheck.
What a deadbeat.
Now Terrio wants a promotion.
To join Washington politicians?
Trying to cut the Social Security and Medicare benefits that we earned.
I can't afford a cut, and I don't think anybody else can.
I think it's wrong. I earned it by working the years that I worked.
No-show Terrio is not gonna work for Maine.
HMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Goose River Farm and Meat Store is conveniently located on Route 3 across from Hammond Lumber in Belfast. They have a wide selection of meat and poultry, including beef, pork, lamb, chicken, duck, rabbit, and turkey. Open Tuesday through Saturday.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I am in.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be here.
Backed by popular demand, the Lucerne Inn in Dedham presents its amazing Sunday brunch. Join us every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for a culinary experience like no other. Indulge in an exquisite selection of dishes, all while enjoying breathtaking views. Seating is limited, so reservations are recommended, but walk-ins are always welcome. The Lucerne Inn Sunday brunch, where great food meets a spectacular view. Call today to reserve your spot.
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message.
A 13-year-old girl was raped in Mississippi, but anti-abortion extremists passed a law that forced her to carry the pregnancy to term.
They have no right. It's horrifying.
Absolutely horrific.
Abel.
Now the same thing could happen in every state. Austin Terrio is on the side of extremists that want to ban abortion nationwide.
Even for rape, no matter how young the victim.
I think they're out of their minds.
They're going to try to control women. It's absolutely nuts.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Friday, October 18th, 2024, and it is also National Mammography Day.
This special holiday was created as part of Breast Cancer Awareness Month to encourage women to take that appointment for a mammography. Early detection leads to early treatment in the battle against breast cancer, and this can be the difference between life and death. Every 2 minutes, someone is diagnosed with the disease, which can also impact men Health experts say all genders should self-check their breast tissue regularly. Of course, that self-check and the check by the doctor are a little different than the actual mammography.
Yeah.
The mammography is something that you'll get, annually or whatever. I don't think it's annually, but it's regular enough to really be able to detect anything.
Yeah, I've lost a few friends to that disease too. So very, very important. So something to think about on this day.
Fairly common cancer.
Sure is. All right, time for history. It was on this day in history back in 1767. The Mason-Dixon line was agreed upon. It created a boundary between Maryland and Pennsylvania to resolve a border dispute in colonial America between a guy named Mason and another guy named Dixon. It would later become the informal boundary between the southern slave states and the northern free states. I didn't know that until this morning.
That's one of those things that you might hear about in history class growing up, and then you forget about it until one of these fun facts.
Yeah.
Fun facts.
That's why we're here,
Yeah.
to remind you of things we forgot about in school, a lot of them. All right, in 1898, the American flag was raised in Puerto Rico, only 1 year after the Caribbean nation won its independence from Spain. In 1931, inventor Thomas Alva Edison died at his home in New Jersey at the age of 84. And in 1954, Texas Instruments unveiled the Regency TR-1. It was the first commercially produced transistor radio, which could be carried anywhere. Previous to that, transistors were only used by the military.
Cool.
It also offered a glimpse of a future full of small and convenient electronics that would develop everything from calculators to mobile phones that we use today. I didn't have that one, but I remember when I was a little kid, I had my own little transistor radio, and I had like a little earpiece, and I would listen to it in bed. I wasn't supposed to, but I'd listen to it in bed, and I was back in those days. They still did reruns of like shows they used to air way back when, and so I'd listen to like the Shadow Knows and things like that, and it would scare me right before bed. So anyway, that brought back some memories.
It's funny that those first transistor radios are the same size as like a smartphone.
They are.
And I don't know, I grew up with math teachers saying stuff like, well, you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket every day, so you've got to learn your arithmetic. Ha!
Now you've got one every day, everywhere you go.
Gotcha.
You can watch movies, anything you want to do. Yeah. By the way, those transistor radios are a collector's item now.
Those are slick.
So,
those are really pretty looking.
Yeah.
I would collect those.
They work great too.
Yeah. All right, in 1967, the U.S. took possession of Alaska after purchasing the territory from Russia for $7.2 million. It would become the 49th state in 1959. In 1972, the Clean Water Act became law, creating new standards for pollution and quality controls for our nation's water.
Our nation's water.
Our nation's water.
Sorry,
that makes sense.
That's my fault.
I'm just reading whatever comes up. In 1977, baseball great Reggie Jackson, known as Mr. October, hit 3 home runs off of 3 consecutive pitches from 3 different pitchers during a World Series game against the Dodgers. Only Babe Ruth had hit 3 homers in a World Series game. And in 1997, a monument honoring U.S. service women, past and present, was dedicated at Arlington National Cemetery. It's located near the entrance to Arlington and features a reflecting pool and fountain, along with an interactive database of female service members.
Really is a beautiful place too, if you get a chance to visit.
Yeah.
All right, for birthdays today, they include action star Jean-Claude Van Damme, who is 64 years old today. You probably don't remember him much, but he was super huge in the 90s.
He is, he's a household name, even though, no, I didn't really grow up watching his stuff as much.
Talk to your dad about him. Your dad knows who Jean-Claude is.
Maybe.
Maybe.
My dad
Maybe
has specific interests.
Okay. Not into Time Cop and that kind of thing.
No, he prefers like Dr. No.
Oh, there you go.
And From Russia with Love.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Olympian Lindsey Vonn turns 40 years old today, and actor Zac Efron turns 37 years old today.
That's crazy.
Coming a long way since High School Musical.
I know.
Which I watched
He's
about
just a
2
baby.
billion times with my daughters. So.
Not on your own accord.
No.
No.
No. Oh, I'm a big Zac Efron fan. So.
I wouldn't hold it against you.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. All right, time for your forecast. Looking like a sunny day today. Right into the weekend, we have lots of sunshine.
It's a beautiful weekend. Here's Devin Biggs with that forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Irish Collision Center. Irish Collision Center offers expert repairs with a 3D frame measuring system, aluminum repair equipment. Our recent expansion boosts capacity, faster service. We're dedicated to quality every time. Visit us today. Alright, here we go. Freeze warnings and frost advisories for the southern parts of the state that will expire at 8 a.m. this morning. The growing season coming to an end with the cooler temperatures now during the morning period. There is a little bit of a warm-up that is also on the way. Meanwhile, though, on land, it's very quiet. I promise our radar and satellite is working this morning. There's no clouds overhead with a lot of sunshine on the way for us today, and also for tomorrow, no rainfall in the forecast anytime soon. There is a system further off towards the south that's causing some showers and storms to develop. This will stay away from us, and again, no rainfall on the way anytime soon. Futurecast showing the quiet weather for today with lots of sunshine, maybe a little bit of a breeze, but that's about it. But notice the clouds stay away from us later on tonight as well, as we'll be under a clear sky with more frost possible. Wednesday might pick up along the coast at around 5 to 10 miles per hour, maybe some higher gusts at times. Winds will be calmer further inland. But otherwise, your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing lots of sunshine with temperatures warming into the 50s and 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin. Well, a hit horror movie returns to theaters for Halloween, and Jason Bateman and Taron Egerton's upcoming thriller.
Fox's Ashley Dvorkin looks at those stories and more in today's Hollywood Nation.
Ethan, today is a day that you're going to remember for a very long time.
Egerton's airport thriller, Megan's documentary, and a horror movie returns, all in the Hollywood Nation.
Hello?
Neon's horror hit Longlegs is back in theaters for Halloween. Playing on screens nationwide October 23rd through October 31st, the film will feature an exclusive sneak peek from director Osgood Perkins' upcoming film The Monkey, as well as a conversation between Perkins and star Theo James. Longlegs pulled in over $100 million globally.
I am going to cancel all of my shows.
In today's First Looks, a trailer for Megan Thee Stallion in Her Words. The documentary gives fans unprecedented access as it follows the rapper's rise to stardom, showing her navigating fame, grief, pressure, and success. It premieres on Prime Video October 31st.
On foot, boys.
A trailer was released for The Legend of Ochi in theaters February 28th. The fantasy adventure follows a young girl from a remote village raised to fear reclusive forest creatures known as the Ochi. But when a baby Ochi is left behind, she goes on a journey to reunite it with its family. Stars include Helena Zengel, Finn Wolfhard, Emily Watson, and Willem Dafoe.
Who are you?
Plus, Netflix revealed a teaser trailer for Carry On, starring Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman. Egerton plays an airport security agent fighting to outsmart a mysterious traveler, blackmailing him into letting a dangerous package on a Christmas Eve flight. In the thriller streaming December 13th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
All sorts of stuff. I have Netflix, but I haven't been watching it as much lately, and there's all sorts of good stuff on it right now.
Yeah.
All right, right after the break, Tyler Cruz will have our sports updates.
Don't go away.
Yeah.
They say that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Well, they are correct.
Especially when it's the irresistible steak, egg, and cheese bagel sandwich. Get yours today.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Class-leading safety features at every turn. A Hyundai Tucson.
Lease an all-wheel drive Tucson for $229 a month, or get 1.99% APR, or up to $1,250 bonus cash. See your local Bangor Hyundai dealer.
Me and my co-workers get up and we go into work every day. Yet, illegal immigrants in this state are getting things handed to them for free. Jared Golden voted to protect sanctuary cities instead of voting to help his own people. Jared Golden pretends to be a moderate, but he's not. Washington has exposed Jared Golden for what he truly is, a tax and spend, liberal, Democrat. He says one thing and does another.
Strategic Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
If you have to ask why it's important to start your day early, here's your answer.
Get any size iced coffee in any flavor for just $1.29 during breakfast hours. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
When you're ready to tackle your next building project, depend on the knowledge and experience of Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner since 1953.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. We are just weeks away from the college basketball season tipping off, and in Orono, Maine, women's basketball has returned to the pit, and they're looking to defend their conference title. Our Jack Webb has more.
The 2024 America East champions are back on the court, and they aren't focused on defending. They're focused on attacking.
I saw a great quote from Joe Mazzulla who said, we don't talk about defending because defending is kind of feels like it's retreat or it puts you on your heels. You know, we talk about attacking and going to get the next one. And so last year is over. Like, we've had our celebrations, we've had our rings, we had all that good stuff.
They'll have to do it without their two superstars from last year's team, losing reigning America East Player of the Year Ann Simon to graduation, and 2023 Player of the Year Adriana Smith to a devastating knee injury in the preseason.
You know, Addie brought so much to the table, whether it was on the defensive end, offensive end, rebounds, you know, guarding one of their best players.
If you take Ann and Addie and the minutes they played and everything, that's a lot.
Both Ann and Addie averaged over 34 minutes and 16 points for Maine last season, leaving big shoes to fill. But head coach Amy Vachon says for the Maine women's basketball program, the standard is the standard.
Our goals don't change year to year, depending on who's on our team and who's not. You know, we expect excellence every time we step on the court and everything we do off the court.
It's next player up for the Black Bears, and that's nothing new.
It opens up opportunity for a lot of us to step up. You know, Coach Amy mentioned that we've had moments like these before.
And no one knew Addie could do what she could do before Ann went down, you know, and so I'm excited to see on our team who will be that next person to step up or next people to step up.
Luckily for Maine, they returned 6 players who averaged over 14 minutes a game last season, and that experience gives them confidence they can still get the job done.
We all just have to step up. I think, yeah, as I said, like, our goals are still the same. We're still going to go in here, work hard every day. I mean, we just got to path to our goal might just be a little different than it was before.
They'll open the season at home against LaSalle on November 4th. From Orono, Jack Webb, ABC 7, Fox 22 Sports.
Thanks for that, Jack. Looking forward to getting back on the court. Let's head over to Hedrick Field now for a pair of soccer games between Brewer and Ellsworth. A physical one in Brewer on Thursday night. We'll pick it up in the second half. Boys getting the start. Eagles already up 1-0. Cal Lasley plays a beautiful through ball to Haven Contronio, who buries it into the net to make it 2-0. We have another take. Look at that pass from Lasley right into a goal, and he fires and knows exactly what to do with it. Later on a Brewer corner, Charlie Bridges gets his head on it, but it bounces off an Eagles defender. That keeps it 2-0. Later on, it's Contronio. He feeds Caleb Jordan for the shot, but this one is going to go just past his foot. But either way, the Eagles go on to win this one by a score of 2-0. All right, for the girls now, it was also senior night at Hedrick Field. Both teams, actually. We'll start it off in the first. Eagles play a ball in, but Gabby Chassie is going to win the race to the ball. Keeps it 0-0. She was everywhere on Thursday. Shortly after, Elizabeth Bowles has it for Ellsworth. She gets a shot on net, but again, it's Chassie there to make the stop. On the other side now for the Witches, it's Ainsley Goodwin here. She's got a chance on net. She fires a shot that just goes wide of the left post. Almost the end of the first half now. Moving on, Lauren Vanetestein sends a ball in, but Julia Spencer blocks her shot. This one would be tied at the half, and the second was more of the same. 0-0 is the final. Over to the Weatherby Complex in Hamden now, Broncos girls taking on the Herman Hawks. First half, Hawks up 2-0. Not for long. Grace Marquise handles the throw in, makes a great move past the defender, sends it back out to Zoe Castrucci, who blasts it on net. Broncos cut the lead in half. It's 2-1. Here they come again before the half, looking to break the tie. Castrucci sends Kiara Gabrick. She beats her defender, but Becca Balmus comes up with the diving save. To the second half now. Here come the Hawks. Some great movement. Peyton Garrett to Brooke Gallup. She gets it to Madison Stewart, who fires in stride. That finds the back of the net, puts them up 3-1. Herman holds on. 3-2 is the final. And for some other scores from around the area, Bucksport over Central in boys soccer 2-1. Mount Ararat beats Bangor 3-0 in field hockey. Penobscot Valley beats Bangor Christian 4-0 in girls soccer. And Foxcroft Academy beats Herman 3-0 in field hockey. And lastly, it's a big day in Maine sports history, especially on the racetrack, where 23 years ago Thursday, one of the Pine Tree State's very own reached a career milestone. Hamden Academy graduate Ricky Craven won his first NASCAR Winston Cup Series event on this day in 2001. Craven taking first place in the Old Dominion 500. It's a tough final lap, too, defeating a field that contained Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch as a rookie, and many more big names. Craven began pro racing in the 90s. He won multiple Rookie of the Year awards across several Pro Cup series and went on to have an excellent career in racing and as a NASCAR reporter for several outlets. Nice to look back on something like that. That is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back.
Tired of waiting for the power company to restore your power? Call Ideal Energy Solutions. Let Ideal Energy Solutions install a Generac automatic standby generator and bring the power back instantly. Don't settle for less than Ideal. Go with Ideal Energy Solutions. Call today.
Whether you have a $15,000 fender bender or a surgery case worth $1 million, call the Twos.
I walked away from my car accident with minor injuries, but I called the Twos and they still got me $23,000.
I needed multiple surgeries after my accident with a big truck. I called the Twos, and Lowry & Associates got me $700,000.
Big cases and small, we handle them all. Call us. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
I work 60 hours a week, and I live with my father. You can't get an apartment by yourself anymore. Jared Golden and liberals in Congress are giving free housing to illegal immigrants. That is not fair. Jared Golden says one thing here in Maine and then goes to DC and does something different. He's made life here in Maine even harder.
Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
If you're looking to make the switch to heat pumps for your home or office, call Ideal Energy Solutions. Ideal Energy Solutions is ready to help you save energy with a new heat pump today. Don't settle for less than ideal. Go with Ideal Energy Solutions. Call today.
Nathan Sawaya's love affair with Legos started as a child, waiting to rip open the packet and slot the small colored bricks together. In 2004, Sawaya left his Manhattan law firm and dedicated himself to Lego building full-time, culminating in his first Art of the Brick works in 2007. With 20 years of experience and studios in New York, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas, Sawaya uses his inventory of some 10 million bricks to create life-size sculptures.
I want to see the video here. Do we have video?
Yeah, do we have it?
There we go.
Dinosaurs, skeletons, and more recently, he's used Lego to recreate famous artworks like the Scream. According to Lego, Sawaya is the only person in the world who's been both a Lego master model builder and a Lego certified professional.
Let's let it go a little bit longer just so we can see what we're talking about here.
I wanted to see the skeleton.
Yeah.
So cool. Whoa! That is crazy. Look at that. Okay. Yeah, now let's throw it over to Devin Biggs for our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Irish Collision Center. Irish Collision Center offers expert repairs with a 3D frame measuring system, aluminum repair equipment. Our recent expansion boosts capacity, faster service. We're dedicated to quality every time. Visit us today. Frost advisories, freeze warnings posted until 8 a.m. this morning for the southern parts of the state. Growing season coming to an end with some of these cooler mornings that we have been dealing with. Some active surf along the coast as well. Small spot of the southwestern parts of the state under a small crab advisory this morning. Wave heights increasing just a bit, just to the south of those boobies now at around 1 to 3 feet, but notice 10 feet being noted further down to the south. So that is why that small crab advisory is posted southwest of the parts of the state of Maine for us today. But otherwise, water temperatures are at around 54 degrees, so some spots continuing to cool off. Other spots are also in the 50s and 60s this morning. Ocean temperatures will continue to cool off as as we head further into fall. Meanwhile, on land, we're rather quiet outside this morning. Lots of sunshine. We might see a few passing clouds, but again, most of the clouds will stay away from us today. There is a system here. This is it right here that's stirring up the ocean a bit. That's probably prompting those small craft advisories as well for the southwestern parts of the state. But again, for us inland, staying rather quiet with a lot of sunshine. And we could use some rainfall, though. The latest drought monitor out yesterday still showing moderate drought for the eastern parts of the state and the southern parts of the state as well, with other areas experiencing abnormally dry conditions. No rainfall on the way anytime soon, and a good part of the country could see rainfall. A lot of the country dealing with some kind of drought right now. Not much rainfall on the way, at least anytime soon, although the western parts of the U.S. seeing at least a little bit of precipitation at this time. Our average temperature is 57 degrees. We'll do lower 60s today, upper 60s Saturday to Sunday, with lower 70s Monday to Tuesday, upper 60s Wednesday, and then we're back in the upper 50s as we head towards your Thursday. Fall foliage, it won't be long and the leaves will be blowing off the trees. The latest map in showing we're past peak across the northern parts of the state. Further down to the south, we are at peak right now, but near Bangor, areas further down to the south, we're seeing a lot of color right now, and with the cooler temperatures, we'll see these colors expand further down toward the south. But your forecast coming up for today, lots of sunshine. It will be a nice day with highs in the low 60s and a south wind at around 5 miles per hour. Later on tonight, lower 30s, clear and cool areas of frost possible. Southwest wind at around 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, upper 60s, sunny and even warmer, with that west breeze getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Irish Collision Center. Partly cloudy on Sunday and again for the day on Monday, with highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s. Mostly sunny on Tuesday with highs in the low 70s.
Harris Lumber is locally owned and has been serving the Pequot region for more than 50 years. See them for all your projects, big or small. Customer service is their #1 priority. And with a full line of lumber and hardware items, they can also deliver to your job site. Harris Lumber, Milo.
There's no question this year, reproductive rights, reproductive freedom is on the ballot. Mary, what was your reaction the day you heard about the Dobbs decision?
I never thought we would be back here. I just never did.
Mom, I mean, I remember I grew up with you telling me I had the choice to do what I wanted with my body.
There's no room in a doctor's office for the patient, the doctor, and the government. This is one of the reasons I want to go back, because there's a lot of work left to be done.
Make Roe v. Wade the law of the land.
You have my word. I'm Angus King, and I approve this message.
Join the swab experts at Puritan Medical Products. For more than 100 years, Puritan has been the trusted name in single-use swabs and transport devices.
We have immediate openings for first and second shift seasonal production workers at our Guilford and Pittsfield locations. With competitive wages, holiday pay, and time off, you'll work from September through December with the opportunity to return each season.
Apply today at PuritanMedProducts.com/careers or email human resources at PuritanMedProducts.com for more info.
My stepfather raised our family working at G.H. Bass, and we saw his jobs go overseas. Yeah, I worked in the paper mills and shoe shops, and those all closed. It pisses me off. See good jobs going overseas. Austin, Ontario signed a pledge to protect tax breaks and loopholes for corporations that send jobs overseas. And he supports trade with China that hurts Maine lobster. Why would you give tax breaks to corporations that are sending jobs overseas? Austin, Ontario is for his big donors. He's not for the working class, that's for sure.
HMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Hey, Bruce. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Do you remember what it was like not to be famous?
I do.
You have the best job in the world.
Hell yes, I do.
Sunday night on ABC.
Well, finally this morning, the Oakland Zoo provided a unique view of a cotton-top tamarin monkey named Alberto eating a pumpkin. That's how we're going to leave you this morning, watching this beautiful little animal eating a pumpkin.
Have a great
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
I'm Craig Poulin, retired chief of the Maine State Police. My investigations were fact-based with evidence leading to sound conclusions. A sound conclusion on Jared Golden is easily reached. He's on our side. Jared stood against defunding the police and worked with Republicans to strengthen the border. Jared is a Maine sportsman and gun owner who respects and supports the Second Amendment, and he opposes unnecessary and unhelpful gun legislation. Take it from me, Jared Golden is fighting to keep your family safe.
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message.
I was hurt in a bad motorcycle accident. I tried to handle it on my own, but I could tell quickly I was in way over my head. The other driver's insurance company was very difficult to work with. That's why I decided to call Joe. Smartest move I ever made. I went from being completely overwhelmed with doctor's appointments and medical bills to feeling normal again. Joe Bornstein's office took care of everything. I was completely satisfied with the outcome, and I wish I'd called sooner.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
Join us every Friday this season as we celebrate the return to the gridiron with the most highlights, reactions, and analysis of your favorite teams. Catch Sports Blitz Friday at 11 on ABC 7. Sports Blitz is brought to you by Coastal Auto Parts, your local Napa Auto Parts dealer with 30 locations, owned and operated by a Maine family that cares. And by Dorsey Furniture, Route 1A Holden, where you'll find furniture that's in stock and ready for delivery.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Good morning, America. 18 days until the final votes, and a new hope for
.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a search ends in tragedy for an Alexander couple lost in the woods on Saturday.
Plus, the city of Bangor announced that they'll be closing Tent City by the end of the year, but some say that will cause larger problems.
And an ATV club is trying to build back following a massive theft from within their own organization.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us. We'll have those stories and more coming up. But first, to check that forecast, we finally made it to Friday.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, it's a chilly one overnight, but looks like the weekend is going to be beautiful. We've been saying it for days, and it's just such a nice October weekend here in central Maine.
Lots of sunshine. I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Here's Stephen Biggs with that forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy